We go from the bouncing ball to the rolling ball. To Pete Weber. Dick Weber was a legendary bowler and great ambassador for the game. His son Pete was born in St. Anne, grew up in Florissant. The Dick Weber lanes in Florissant, and Pete practically went to school there. Dick introduced young Pete to the game when he was 2 years old. He bowled a perfect 300 game when he was 14. By the time Pete was 15, he was winning local tournaments against adult bowlers. Obviously, he had a very good teacher. By the early 1980s, Pete established himself as one of the best bowlers in the world. His early years were marred by some personal problems, but he turned his life and career around in 1997 and credits his wife, Tracy, with much of that, saying she's the best thing that ever happened to him. The PBA Tour was sold, and new bowlers loved Pete and his style. They wanted him to be animated, would fit his style perfectly. He knows how to sell the game. He is a love him or hate him kind of bowler, but brings personality to the game. At age 50, he became the oldest to win the Tournament of Champions. His record tells us that he can well make the claim of being the greatest bowler of all time. He won 37 PBA titles, including 10 majors. That's number one in PBA history. He has 5 U.S. Open titles, still the most by any bowler in PBA history. He's still going strong on the PBA 50 Tour, formerly the Senior Tour. Pete is the only bowler to win the Triple Crown twice. He rolled 80 perfect 300 games. Some things you may not know about Pete. He's a big Cardinal and Blues fan. He's also a big wrestling fan. He wears sunglasses when bowling on television because of the lights. He wears a golf club on his bowling hand. His favorite food is Korean barbecue for some reason. He's nearly a scratch golfer and a little superstitious. He sits in the same spot when he's bowling well. He folds his towel the same way and does not want his wife to wear red on TV. He'll have to explain that. Other than that, he's completely normal, but not a normal bowler. We call Pete Weber the best in history and excited to induct him into the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. Pete Weber! Tom Ackerman, KMOX Radio, will be doing the interview.
Pete, grab one of those. Let me scoot over here. So, what is this? Wrestling, I would have never guessed. I just,
Well, the wrestling is, I've been watching like wrestling at the Chase since I was like 10 years old. And now the WWE has come along, and I just love it. It's a men's soap opera. And I love it. I just love every minute of it.
What does this mean to you to be here in front of your fellow St. Louisans?
Wow, what an honor. What a privilege it is to go in with all the inductees that are going in tonight. Like I say, it's an honor and a privilege. And besides that, this is the 5th Hall of Fame that me and my father have gone into together. So that is a real honor also.
Pete, Ron went through the accomplishments. You could make the case that you are the greatest bowler of all time. But your father, a legend, paved the way for a lot of you in that sport. And I know that you would never say that necessarily, knowing that your father had done so many great things in his career and is also considered one of the all-time greats.
Well, first of all, I'm never going to be as good as Dick Weber ever thought about being. I am just his son. I followed in his footsteps. I've done the best I can, but the greatest of all time in my eyes has always been my dad, Dick Weber.
You were beating adults as a teenager, and then when you became a professional, you're winning tournaments, and we saw on the screen, we saw the attitude, the excitement, the gestures, the antics, all the shouting. Did you do it to get yourself excited, or did you in a way do that to get yourself focused in the right place?
I didn't do it to get everybody excited. I did it to get me excited because that's the way I am. You always know how I feel when I'm bowling. I mean, if I'm like shooting 250, 260 every game, then you know it. If I'm shooting 150 every game, then you know it, because you can tell by the way I react. If I'm bowling really good, then yeah, I'm going to give you the crotch chop, I'm going to give you the Superman punch, I'm going to give you the suck it, and then other than that, if I'm bowling bad, then you're going to see like a really mean look on my face and like, God, what are you doing? This is not right. Do it right. So, you always know how I felt when I bowled.
Tell us about your inner circle and the people that keep you going day after day.
Well, the inner circle that I have is my friends like Norm Duke, who's an established bowler, has more titles than I got, but he's always been there for me. He's always treated me the same way for 37 years that I've been out on the Professional Bowlers Tour, and he just makes me feel really good about myself. My brother Rich, he's my coach. He makes sure that I'm throwing the ball the best I can throw it every time I walk out on the tour. And then Storm, that makes the best bowling balls in the world for me to bowl with. That is more to me than I can possibly imagine.
Tom, you have to ask him why he doesn't want his wife to wear red
Well,
on
I was going to
television.
say, because, I mean, if you went to a Cardinals game with her
No, that's not
and you got caught on TV, no, tell us why.
Well, wow. I won my first title in red. I won my 11th title in red. I won my 21st title in red. I won my 31st title in red. But every time my wife wore red in between that, I shot like 130, 140, 150. So it's like, well, you're not going to win a whole lot shooting 150 on TV. So, if it's for like when I go for my 41st title, I'll wear red. But in between that, nobody can wear red on TV.
Finally, what does the future hold for you?
Well, I'm 55 years old now. I'm bowling full-time on the regular tour and the senior tour. And, those kids don't scare me so much. And I guess I don't scare them anymore either, because they want to beat me so bad. But, I'm not afraid. I'm still going to bowl on the regular tour full-time. And then I'm still going to bowl on a senior tour full-time. Now, the seniors are scared of me. But the kids aren't, so that's all right.
And
that's really all right.
You're not scared of anything.
I'm not scared of nothing. Bring it on. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest of all time and one of our own, Pete Weber.
And congratulations to all the other inductees and award winners tonight. I really appreciate you letting me be part of this, and congratulations to you too.